most e-commerce brands don't know this, but for every sale you make, for every one sale you make, like 2.3 abandoned carts are happening. So you have one sale, 2.3 just fall through the cracks. And that's just one type of like sale abandonment that happens. And nobody, like most people don't know about the other three. Email and SMS marketing it's not a nice to have anymore. It's not a nice to have in 2026. It is a non-negotiable requirement to be profitable in e-commerce and CPG, direct to consumer, all those things. You need email marketing. One of the biggest reasons you need it is because it is so darn cheap to reach out to the audience that you already have. It costs you pennies to send an email whenever brands are spending thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a week, a month to reach cold audiences. Whenever you have a warm audience that you've captured that you can send an email to for pennies.
Yeah. So you're going to teach us some stuff today.
That's right. So this is the strategy that we use at Newsy to help our clients generate 40 to 50% of their overall revenue from email and SMS.
These are the 4 ways that customers are leaking from the website.
Yes. So we have 4 flows here, 4 email automated flows. And before really getting into any of this stuff, you need to have your email service provider set up. So I recommend Klaviyo. There's also like OmniSend, a bunch of other options. I think Klaviyo is the best. And then Shopify, I think, has the best integrations. You're probably not going to change where your store is based because of emails, but Shopify, in my opinion, is top notch. It also works with things like WooCommerce and other ones. But make sure that is set up. Make sure we're going to go over different metrics and triggers for each of these automations. You need to make sure that Klaviyo and Shopify are integrated and have all of these. If not, you're going to have a guide in the description of this video that Klaviyo has put together to walk you through how to make sure all your metrics and triggers are set up properly. As well, this entire guide is available. So 4 flows and 14 emails. A lot of these are very, very similar. All the content here is built to convert. But as you see higher up in the funnel, which site abandon is highest in the funnel, checkout being lowest, you're 1 click away from converting. Yeah. We hit on personal connection here. Browse abandon, they're not as high intent, so you're showing them more products because maybe they looked at a product and the reason they left is because they didn't like it. So you actually want to show them other options as well as adding in social proof, risk reversals. FAQs are your best friend in this setup. So let's get moving into the nitty gritty. Sweet. So this is the full build out, 4 flows, 14 emails with examples. So we're going to start bottom of funnel. Reason being, this is going to be the easiest win for any business. This is how you just got to poke people off the edge and they convert. And this can be a needle mover right off the bat. So we're just going to go first in how to define and how to set up the abandoned cart flow. And I'll tell you in a second why we're doing cart and checkout together at the same time. So the abandoned cart flow is triggered when a shopper adds an item to their cart, but doesn't make it all the way to the checkout page. So super high intent, since they just made it 1 step away from purchasing, we just need to nudge them over the edge. The trigger you're using in Klaviyo is going to be the Shopify added to cart trigger. Next, how to set up the abandoned checkout flow. So the difference is that where the shopper added cart, they'd now go to the checkout page, which is where you enter your email, your shipping info, your payment info, all of that. But you still don't make a purchase. So this is the highest intent flow, and we have to capture these guys. Like, we have to get them. They're right there. And so the trigger you use there is checkout started. It's also the Shopify trigger. Sweet. So yeah, we're starting at the very bottom of the funnel. These are your most important flows. So if you do anything from this guide today, install these. Just take a few hours. It might not even take that long. Just install them today. Shoppers that get this far are just a click or 2 away from becoming customers, And so we need to help them rest easy, trust our brand, and then trust that our product is awesome, which it does. And another note, this is like maybe kind of weird to say. People say that business isn't personal, but anytime money exchanges hands, it absolutely is. And so that's why we lean in these automations into the personal connection as much as we do like, oh, are we actually going to get what we were promised? Free returns, things like that. Because, man, I had like a good explanation in my head and I just lost it. But anyway.
Well, it makes me think of like when I was a kid trying to shop online, and you'd get some kind of email. It was like an automated system notification.
Yeah.
Where it would say like your order was fulfilled, or like just if there was any other trigger. And now you have the ability to personalize it more. There's maybe a little bit of like brands are a little bit more courageous about, having a voice during all these little notifications that could have been pretty stale.
Yeah, exactly. And so each opportunity, that's why you're seeing like these multi-billion-dollar companies spend millions or hundreds of millions of dollars just to feel like a mom and pop shop, to feel personal and real and not a corporation. And especially, I don't know, like how political or whatever we're allowed to get, but there's obviously a big anti-corporation movement going on. Mm-hmm. And so to the smaller businesses who are trying to seem more legit by feeling more corporate, the corporations are spending millions of dollars to sound like you. So this is where you tackle that personal touch and really connect with people. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And now, I mean, these tools are not new, but it is something that has become like democratized. Like for just, a couple like dollars a month, you can have a tool that allows you to customize your brand voice at every stage.
Yeah, no, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yes, so the reason we're doing abandoned cart and abandoned checkout together is because we just like to start off and give these flows the same copy or the same text, it's the same persuasive language, but with different design and colors, things like that. Because this content is built and designed to convert. And so after you build one of these, you can use the same copy on both of them. And then after you get a baseline of performance, you can then test out different types of social proof, different types of risk reversals. Do reviews work better here? Do FAQs work better? If you have like guarantee emblems, things like that you throw in, you just see what performs best, and you let the statistics tell you what to do. So to start, they are basically the same flows, just with different design and different triggers.
Yep.
So this is the overview here. 4 emails. 2 of them are graphic based, and then 2 of them are text based. And if you're not doing text based emails as an e-com brand, you're missing out. It's ridiculous how few people are doing it. Yeah, definitely go for that. So moving to email number 1, this email serves as just a simple reminder where we show them the item that they abandoned and then give a little bit of info about the brand and our products. And honestly, just a reminder, get out of the way. Because a lot of people, that's all they needed. They just needed a reminder. And so, yeah, this is a little breakdown with some subject lines for you if you're doing this at home or at work. Yeah, so simple reminder. This is your dynamic content that you can plug into Klaviyo. We'll show you how to do that in a second. And then big old button. I've heard people say, make your buttons so big that a blind person could click them. And it's you're able to see a major difference when you have small buttons versus big buttons. It doesn't seem like it would be that big of a deal. And then a little bit of content about why you're the best of the best. Sweet. So that's email number 1. Email number 2 is where we start with the text-based emails. So this is where you make your personal connection with a founder or somebody on the team. You can have an intern and be funny about it, like whatever it may be. But you're personally reaching out to them to remind them about their cart. Then maybe you can add social proof, or if you have a study about the benefits of your product if you have like a consumable or something like that. So really, really simple. You'll see even greater open rates because the sender is a person rather than a brand. We see higher open rates just from that. So you'll say something like, "Hey, first name, just wanted to check in and see if there's anything we could do to help you complete your purchase. We saved your order on file. Click the link below to grab your gear today." And then a super, super bold, not at all difficult to see button that there's no confusion as to what this email is wanting you to do. It's wanting you to click that link or reach out to their support line, which if you're a business worth your salt, you want to get as much feedback as possible from shoppers, from purchasers. And so this is a really good email. And yeah, these plain text work really, really, really well. Now on to email number 3. So yeah, now that we know that this is more than just a forgotten cart, but it's actually an abandoned cart, it's been a few days now, we're able to give them a little incentive to come back. So this is usually a discount, but it can be a free gift or free shipping or whatever, depending on your margins and what you're able to do, go for it. Some brands like to lead off on the abandoned flows with discounts or with an incentive, but we know that ecom it's a game of margins. And so we want to hold on to everything that we can. And so that's why we wait until we know, okay, they didn't just forget, they didn't just need a reminder, they didn't just need a little convincing, they're out the door, let's try to get them back in. And that's where we're willing to do something. So yeah, very, very simple. You'll realize like all these emails, very simple. It's just knowing what to do, why to do it.
That's where like some brands are so afraid to give the discount. They feel like they're going to give it a discount to someone who was already going to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, it's a few days later. Might as well give it, give them an incentive to actually check out. Not check out, but to come back.
And
check out your products.
Yeah, exactly. And so they've proven to some degree that they're not just bluffing, waiting for an email discount or something like that. Yeah. But also at the same time, if you're a no discount brand, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like you won't convert as much, but you also won't be hurting your margin. Mm-hmm. So it's okay. It all just
there are other incentives that you could give if you're a no discount brand.
Yeah, you have online communities that you can allow access to, content, things like that. There are a ton of things that don't hurt your margins that you can give away. So here, you want everything above the fold, meaning they don't have to scroll for it. Tell them about your incentive, whatever it may be. A big button so big that a blind person could click it, and then show them the Klaviyo dynamic content that shows what they actually left in their cart or left in their checkout. Here, I like to add an FAQ. And the great thing about FAQs is they should just be a list of your most heard objections and then exactly how you'd want to answer them, which sometimes in person that's difficult. But whenever you just have an email, you can think forever about that and then just send it out to everybody that is on the fence. And that's great. I also like to throw in a review or something like these guarantee emblems. And then as always, big button at the bottom, super important. You don't want people to have to scroll all the way up to the top again if they've been convinced to buy. You want to have a button ready for them. And then the last email in the abandoned cart and abandoned checkout flow is another text-based email from the founder or a team member. We personally reach out to them for a final reminder about their abandoned cart along with the incentive that we gave them the day before. This invites them to reply with any questions or concerns. It's a great way to get feedback again. Mm-hmm. Another note here, in every text-based email that you have, every single one, like without exception, even though I think the email before this was an exception. Generally speaking, without exception, you want to have a PS section in your email. So the PS section is the second most read line of any text-based email. And the first read is just the first line of the email. So it feels more personal, it's exciting, it feels like you get a sneak peek into like some other thing. And so It's almost like a TLDR, to where basically whatever the CTA, whatever the point of the CTA is in your email, just throw it in the PS section, even if it's just a repeat. Like even if you've already have the CTA twice in the email, throw it in a third time. People will click it. So yeah, your cart's still here, but you're 15% off, not for long. Then there's some validation, some verification. Over 650 hunters have left 5-star reviews. And then a reminder to use the code, finish my order, and then PS. Let's have another link there. Sweet. So the last thing we're going to talk about, the abandoned cart and abandoned checkout, is some specifics on how to set it up in Klaviyo. It's kind of nerdy stuff if you're watching for just like theoretical marketing things. You don't necessarily need to know this. If you're setting this up, though, it's really important. Building these flows out from scratch is actually pretty tedious when you consider you have triggers, you have the filters, because just because somebody added to cart doesn't mean you want them to go through this, because they could have added to cart and then checked out. Things like that. So you need to have filters as well. And then the dynamic content that's actually in the emails that shows people what was in their cart or what they're checking out with or what they're browsing. So great thing is Klaviyo has flow templates built out that have all of these things in place already, and we just redo all the design and things like that. So for abandoned cart and abandoned checkout, these are the flow templates that you need to use. So abandoned cart reminder, there are a lot of abandoned cart templates. You want to use the Shopify added to cart trigger. I do the email and SMS one. That's what that little emblem there means. You can just do email if you're not doing SMS, but it's no big deal either way. And then abandoned checkout reminder, standard email and SMS. They just recently added this. If you had done an abandoned cart, flow previously, I think a year and a half ago, you actually were doing an abandoned checkout flow, but they just had the triggers messed up. And so very recently they added this. So these are the two that you want. They have the Shopify triggers, every filter we want, and good dynamic content for us to customize. So in here, pictures of the triggers, the profile filters. If for some reason you need to see it and wanted to verify, this is what you need. And then this is the dynamic content. So as you can see, there are all these different codes, things like that. You're able to customize the appearance. You're able to, customize font, color, button size, everything. So don't worry about it looking super ugly or anything. And so that is the abandoned cart and abandoned checkout flow.
So that completes the main one where you say that's going to be your main money maker.
Yes.
Low hanging fruit. If you don't have that, you're basically not running.
Yeah.
You're not running properly today.
Yeah. And in my experience doing this for different brands, this generates anywhere from 15 to 25% of their email and SMS revenue. So pretty important stuff.
15 to 25% of their email and SMS revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
that would equate to.
Is there any larger group? Is there any larger moneymaker from the email side of things?
Yeah, I would say the welcome flow.
The welcome flow.
Welcome flow is a big one. And I've got another video on that. But that can get you on its own. It's like, depending on what you do, 6 to 8 emails, and that can get you 25% on its own. Mm-hmm. Just because that's everybody goes through it. Yeah. Every single person. And so you have a high converting pop-up form on your website that gets, depending on your niche and things and what you're willing to put up for it, you have a 10 to 15% conversion rate on your pop-up form. And then, so you can have thousands of people per month going through that. And then, I think you want probably like 7 to 10% of them buying. So email's cool. Yeah. Email's cool, man. Like it feels nerdy, and everybody thought I was crazy for getting into it. Uh-huh. But it's just like, it's a money maker. Yeah. It is fun. So
what's the next one?
Yeah, so next we have the browse abandonment flow. And so this is how we define browse abandonment. So it's triggered when a shopper views a product on your site but doesn't add it to cart. So this isn't as high intent as cart or checkout, obviously. And so as we remind them of the products that they were considering, but that might not have actually been what they wanted to buy anyways, We're going to push hard on social proof, risk reversals, and other products in our store. Emphasis on other products, showing them other things. The trigger inside Klaviyo that we build this flow with is viewed product. And it's got that gear little emoji or sign right there with it. So this might be my favorite flow because it is lower intent than checkout or abandoned cart, but it's high enough intent that you can actually get some really, really good traction with it, but you can't just try to push them over the edge. You have to be more gentle with it. You have to build the relationship and have to persuade them a little bit more. So I actually like this one a lot. Also, keep in mind when you're building this out, the item that they browse might not be the exact item that they want. So we're going to be able to show them other products throughout the flow just in case a different one catches their eye, especially whenever we add an incentive. That changes how people view things. So this is the 30,000 foot view. You're going to see a lot of similar content to the other abandonment flows. These are put here to convert, but a couple different strategies, a couple different combinations. So the first email is sent 1 to 2 hours after abandonment. You're able to test that out, see what works best for you, and then you're hitting them every single day after that for the next 3 days. So 3 days in a row. So email number 1, this is just a simple reminder where we show them which items they abandon and then give a little bit of info about the brand. So very similar to the first email previously. So something different is that you, rather than trying to push them to the purchase, you're just acknowledging that they're interested. You say, hey, saw that you looked at this thing. Something catch your eye. Yeah, that's a great one. Then you add the dynamic Klaviyo content. And then in the overview, it said show proof and show products. I really like doing something like this where you're able to attach reviews to products. It saves space, but also it's way easier for people to respond to somebody else's experience, which is way more valuable than anything we could ever say. And then, as always, big button at the bottom. Really important. Email number 2 is another reminder, but we just want to add in some trust-building content. So I love to do FAQs, but also throwing in, like to do a longer, more detailed review in front of the FAQ just to give context for what's going on. And also, once again, if you find that testimonials or emblems or free returns work better, then replace all of this stuff with that, because every brand is different, every audience is different. So take another look. You can add some urgency with the copy here. Dynamic content. A good review, and then some FAQs, which are just your main objections, and then following up with them the way you see fit. Browse Abandonment 3 is where we introduce the discount or incentive, gift, whatever. And this is, they've proven that it's not just a forgotten thing, but actually they're out the door. And so now let's try to get them back in. So we're not trying to throw away our margin right off the bat. Once again, still thinking about it, and then checking out bestsellers. And these are on fresh eyes now. People are seeing these differently because they're 10, 15, whatever % cheaper, or they're free shipping, or they come with a new thing. And so this is very simple as always. Just keep it simple, giving them another opportunity to purchase or even look and add to cart, and then they get put in that next automation, which is great. 4th email here. On the final day, we send another text-based email from the founder or a team member. And this is the final reminder of their browsing discount, and will be accompanied by a little bit of your origin story. And this is just where we were talking about the corporation spending millions to feel small. Just tap into the back in my mother's garage days, those things. Really tap into that. So this is from the founder at Basecamp Coffee. So hey there, it's Heather here, the adventure-obsessed founder. We started with one goal in mind: to make delicious coffee that fuel our fellow trailblazers. And then big button, contrasting button that's bright blue whenever everything else is black. And thanks for rolling with us, Heather. Really, really simple and these print money. They print. And so setting it up, once again, there's some like difficult stuff to do setting up the browse abandonment flow, but there's a really great template. It's this one right here, browse abandonment, standard email and SMS, as if you're building it out on your own. There's one thing that you need to do differently. So everything in this template is correct, except in the profile filters, you need to add to cart 0 times since starting this flow. Because if someone browses and then they add to cart, we don't want them getting this automation. And for some reason, Klaviyo didn't add that, but it's okay. Really easy to add. Then once again, you're able to customize all this dynamic content here extremely easily. And then last but not least, we have the site abandonment flow.
This will be the widest part of the funnel, right? This is people who just visited the site.
Yeah.
I think it's a little confusing, like how, if they just landed on the site, how do you know their contact info? How do you, right? Isn't there another step that needs to happen?
Yeah, so I guess that is valuable information. So all of these are only legally, they can only be sent to people who have consented to email marketing. And so that is the one thing that it's extremely important to have a high converting pop-up form, because not only do they go through your welcome flow, which is just as valuable as all 4 of these flows put together. Not only do they do that, but then you have consent after that to email them targeted offers, targeted content just like this based on their behavior. And so we're not able to send this to everybody that comes in, which is why it's so important to have.
But that's where like a brand can calculate, well, we would spend whatever, $5 to get consent. Just, there's a certain dollar value to have a consented, opted in person. Yeah. Not even a customer, not even a purchaser, but just somebody who's like, you have their email.
Opted in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're able to see it within Klaviyo on your main dashboard. You're able to see of a dollar value per recipient. And so that is per email sent, per individual email sent. So not like we sent out a campaign to 10,000 people, but how much was each of those 10,000 people worth in that instance? And then you're able to see an overarching value to that as well. And that's really important when it comes to acquisition, for sure.
Cool.
So site abandonment flow, you have their consent and they've come back to your website, or they are now on your website after giving consent, then they don't browse. And so you will get a lot of people doing this, a lot of triggers. And so the site abandonment flow, as we said, is triggered when a shopper hops on your site, but they don't purchase, they don't go to checkout, they don't add to cart, they don't even look at an item. They just hop on and hop off. This is the lowest intent of all the abandonment flows, arguably no intent. They're cold traffic, barely not cold traffic because they know about you. But this is also the highest trafficked flow. And so as the first line of defense in our battle against abandonment, it can't be slept on, should not be slept on. So the trigger inside Klaviyo that we build this flow with is active on site. And this is the simplest of the 4 flows. There's no dynamic content because they didn't look at a product. And we're only doing 2 emails because we don't want to be a clingy girlfriend that's like, you just looked at my website, come back right now. So the primary goal of this flow is re-engagement. These shoppers may have only been on for a second, and so so just showing products that they're likely to be interested in, and then adding another personal touch is really all we need here. Just something to get them re-engaged. So short, sweet, and simple. We just got 2 emails here, and one that is not super adventure-y as an example. Okay, here we go. Site abandonment, email number 1. So this email helps them feel noticed, but the longer send delay, we're not doing like 30 minutes or an hour. We're doing like 3 to 5 hours after they abandon the site. So this is later in the day, most likely closer to the evening time when things have dialed down. You're not crazy, just like reaching out to them right after they hopped off your website. So you don't get creepy girlfriend vibes. It gives them options. in the hero section, this is something that I love to do on these super low intent. We're basically trying to give them as much direction, but also give them options. So people love options, but hate making decisions. It's like this weird dynamic that with marketing, you want people to have choices, but nobody makes choices. Like nobody makes decisions. And so narrow it down, but also give them the freedom of, what do they want to look at. So in this email, you have rolling cases and you have totes. This is a craft package or craft bag brand. And then, you give them the option, just acknowledging, hey, we noticed you stopped by. Nothing crazy. We're not trying to sell them on this email. Just allowing them to get a look. You throw your best sellers. So what are your just the most likely thing for them to be interested in? Your cash cows need to go in here. Big button at the bottom. And then open up for support. So say, hey, if something actually did go wrong, we want to hear about it. If the website glitched out or anything like that. And then email number 2, you don't have to do this, but it's just a really easy addition that doesn't hurt. It's just another text-based message from the founder, incredibly personal. You are just lending a helping hand, trying to, if you got an email from the founder of an established business saying, hey, let me help you along in this website, navigating things, helping you find what you're looking for, and even reply to this email and we'll help you specifically. That's enough to convert, or at least get somebody to look a little bit further. Just a helping hand, personal reminder that you exist. And that's a great way to wrap up the site abandonment automation. Okay, and then the last thing, there is not a template in Klaviyo for this one, and so it's really easy. You just start from scratch, you title it whatever you want, use the active on-site metric as the trigger, then the filters are all right here. So they haven't viewed a product since starting the flow, they haven't added cart in the last week, checkout, they haven't checked out or placed an order in the last week also, and then we don't want them getting this flow every time they come to your website, and so at least 30 days since they've been in this flow. And so there's no dynamic content to add either, so it's just you design these in Figma, which is my favorite design platform. It's like open canvas, a lot of incredible plugins and apps. You're able to just do a lot of different things. I like it more than Canva. Canva's a bit more beginner friendly, I think. Or you can do it right in Klaviyo. The Klaviyo builder is pretty good. Won't get you as far as the other two, but it's good if you're just doing everything on your own. If you're doing all your marketing on your own, you're cool to do it just in Klaviyo. So, those are actually, I'm going to talk about Black Friday, Cyber Monday automations a little bit.
Yeah, how is that different? Give the framework, the mindset on how you look at Black Friday and what you do differently.
Right. So in August, we could send out an email at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. even, and after somebody gets home from work at the end of the day at 6 or 7, they could still find our email in their inbox on their phone. On Black Friday, if you send an email at 9, it's buried by 11. And so during this season, volume is the name of the game. So you need to be sending out multiple campaigns, or email blasts if you don't know what that means, like email blast campaign. You need to be sending multiple of those every day through the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, depending on how long you do it, that, 3 to 6 or 7 day period. It's, who knows anymore. It's all made up. So whatever.
Yep.
It's all made up.
Yeah. Cyber month.
Yeah. Well, I know people do Cyber week.
Yeah.
A lot of my clients were doing Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sending 2 to 3 campaigns per day through that period. And these flows need to complement that strategy. And so, for example, the abandoned cart, it's not going to be helpful if on Cyber Monday you abandon cart and I send you 4 days of automations. What you need, because the discount or the promotion or the offer that you were hopefully going to get is long gone. So in every single one of these, we're either doing one email, which is the site abandon flow. You're only doing one email for that one, and it's going to be sent like 30 minutes after abandonment. They're all going to be sent 30 minutes after abandonment. But for browse, cart, and checkout abandonment, you're sending 2 emails. The first one is 30 minutes after abandonment, and then the next one is 2 hours later. You can try different ones, 2 to 3, 2 to 4 hours later. But it's just because, once again, you're going to get buried so fast in the inbox. People are in their shopping mood, and then they're out of their shopping mood. And so you want to catch them as quickly as possible. Next day does not matter. It's irrelevant. And so that's what you want to do. For the actual structure, you can use all of the emails that we just went through, just with a few edits. The hero section, or like the top part of the email, the above the fold section, needs to be showcasing your offer completely. And in your other marketing, you figured out a good way to do this, how to word it, how to frame it. Is it a percentage? Is it a dollar amount? Is it a picture of a specific, free thing, whatever it may be? Showcase that with a big button that says Shop Black Friday now or Shop Cyber Monday. Then at the very bottom, after your reviews, after your risk reversals, the lower section of the design needs to be a restatement of your offer, Shop Black Friday now, Shop Cyber Monday now, whatever it may be. And that is for it would be all 7 of these emails. Other ones that I would recommend is to do a welcome flow. Shut off your welcome flow for just a short period of time and just get 1 email showcasing your offer. And then post-purchase, if you don't have a post-purchase flow, you need to set it up. Immediately after, send a plain text, just text-based email to the person that just bought. Incentivize that, try to get them to, one, show your gratitude and tell them what it means that they would support your business. But then incentivizing them to add to their cart, add to what they've purchased, getting that temporary discount or promotion then and there, because it's not happening later on. You have to wait a whole other year for it. Those are going to be the simplest way to have an efficient, lean, high converting, automated flow setup all around for Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. It's like you could get really overwhelmed with trying to do everything, but
it's actually less than before.
Yeah.
It's just more dialed in.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And now the last thing I'd want to leave you guys with is, once all these are set up, we're not done. And so to put it plainly, I would say A/B testing is really incredibly important. It's the secret sauce for optimizing your abandonment flows. It feels complicated and can be confusing. There's so many things that you could test out. But in its simplest form, it just comes down to nobody gets it right the first time. And so there are an infinite number of details to test, but I just wanted to give you guys, I think I put 6 or 7 really high leverage important things to test out, just so you don't get caught in the details that don't matter as much. So you'll mostly see 5 to 10% improvements over time. You can see some big ones where you're like, wow, that increased conversions by 25%. That's great. Love those things. A/B test your subject lines, your preview text, which is, it's basically you have your big subject line and then there's some text that normally gets cut off beneath it. A lot of people see that as a second opportunity for a subject line. It's just a preview into what the email is. Text-based emails versus graphic-based emails. So you can, on these 2 or 4 email automated flows, flip the script, try to open up with a plain text or a text-based email and see what happens. You're only going to know if you test it out, and it could actually be a huge unlock for you. Test out your offer. Test out what products are featured in your email graphics. Maybe the collections or things you're showing people aren't actually what they're looking for. And you're only going to know that if you test out different things. Time delays between each send. So what's the actual schedule that people are looking at? I've seen that hitting people up earlier is often better than, doing a 1 hour, 2 hour site abandon trigger versus the 4 hour, 3 to 5 hour site abandon sometimes that works. Every brand is different. Every audience is different. Then ultimately, yeah, just get creative. Every detail matters. And then lastly, this is my favorite thing to do. I'm a work harder or work smarter, not harder kind of guy. So the more I can accomplish with the same amount of work, the better. And so my favorite task stacking method in email marketing is adding campaigns or those email blasts, like I said, that work incredibly well, throwing those in automated flows. So you should be sending, if you're an e-com brand, 3 to 4 email campaigns per week, and most of them shouldn't have a discount or any sort of promotional thing. This style of email marketing accomplishes a few things. Protects your profit margins, like we've been talking about this entire time. Super big deal. It keeps your audience from being price sensitive or like just waiting for the next discount or the next holiday. It forces you to provide value in your emails versus just being lazy, like tossing random crap at them. And then builds the status of your brand as someone that has, or a brand that has authority, is energetic, is entertaining and fun. So when you have a campaign or an angle that kills it, you take that and you throw that into abandonment flows, whether it's an entire email or just an angle. You don't want to be excessive with it, but you can add those things to the people who are right on the edge or who need some convincing because this angle worked for them, probably works for other people that are similar. So the simple logic is just my current list responds well to this content. So I want to be sure that every single person considering a purchase in the future gets to see it too, because they'll most likely love it as well. And then this is just my last little tool for you guys. If you don't know what to send in these campaigns that you should be sending, I made a ChatGPT prompt to generate 100 unique non-discount campaign topics. And these are good for YouTube videos, good for social media posts, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all those things. And so that is actually everything I have for you guys.
Amazing.
I know that was a lot. Holy cow.
That was the course.
That was
right.
That was a bit.
It should be a certificate to complete it.
You're certified. Man.
Thank you so much for showing us through all this, and of course, any of the extra resources and everything will be linked below
For sure.
for people to get the the guides and prompts and all those things. So
yeah, this is all for you guys. Don't have to pay any money for it or anything. Just take it and make bukus for your brand, for the brand that you work for. It's like one of the easiest level ups that you could do. You could get it done in an afternoon. Seriously.
Dial it in.
Yeah, man.
All right. Thank you, Dalton.
Dude.